Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year and welcome back to the very first Rumour Mill. We've been doing transfer bits here and there over the last sort of week or so, but we're going to be getting back into the full thronger, the full schedule, which is the Rumour Mill. So make sure you slap a like on the video. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. And we're going to talk about the Newcastle game in this video, of course, as well. You guys didn't get your review yesterday, so you will get it right now. Alongside that, we're going to be chatting everything Leeds United. We're going to be discussing transfer rumours. We're going to be discussing what's coming on the channel as well in the next week. So yeah, guys, if you want to sign up to Patreon is in the link in the description below. We'll be adding more content there this week. I'll be adding another video after this video as well if you want some bonus content. Just a little bit of a discussion video. If you guys are interested in that, link will be in the description below. Guys, make sure you check out BETMATE as well. Links in the description below for that. Those guys are fantastic. And it's all about a weekly fantasy football league that you can get involved in for absolutely nothing, winning big money. So let's get into it anyway. As you can see by the thumbnail, everybody, our favourite man is on there, Noah Lang. A lot of publications in Belgium discussing at the minute that Leeds United are still looking at the Belgium international. And according to Dean Jones, the Bleacher Report journalist, Leeds United could move very quickly to seal a deal for the Club Bruges winger Noah Lang. Voteball 24, the 25th of December, said that the Jupiler League side are concerned about losing some of their top talents in January. Apparently Leeds, who knows, Leeds and Monaco are looking at Noah Lang. So yeah, I mean, we know with Leeds United that these rumours just resurface. We are going to discuss a player in a little bit who just keeps resurfacing. And I think Leeds' scouting network is obviously developing year in, year out, of course. But the financial restraints are going to restrict what Leeds United can do, which is quite contradictory because on the thumbnail you can see 27 million. Well, that's what Noah Lang is going to cost. So if Leeds United need it that bad and need him that bad, they're going to have to go out and spend the money. Do I think it makes sense? No. I think Noah Lang is clearly a very talented player. For me, it's not what we need right now, another winger. It would be very Leeds to add another winger. We saw that with Dan James when we didn't want one. We didn't need one, I should say. It's all about opportunity for Leeds. So for me, it doesn't really matter what position they're in. If they've scouted a player and that player has become available for a certain fee, they will go after the player. You know, we've seen that with years gone by. You know, even when you were looking at Josko Gvardiol years and years ago, at that moment in time, did Leeds massively need a centre-back? There were other problem areas that we did need to invest in. The centre-back wasn't the highest priority, but he'd been on the list for Leeds, so they went back in for him when it became a hot topic and when he became readily available. So, yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on with Noah Lang. It's always the same thing every single window. But as I say, guys, he's clearly on the spreadsheet, evidently. And if he becomes available, I think this is clearly going to be the January where he moves on. I mean, he's 23 years of age now. He's been rumoured for years. Club Bruges obviously very worried about letting him go. And it's clearly going to be a month where he leaves the club. So is he going to come to Leeds United? I highly doubt it. I don't think we need a winger. I don't think we've got that sort of money. And yeah, I think if he was to go anywhere, Leeds or Monaco, you're probably going to pick Monaco at this moment in time. Another one who we've not spoken about yet, Che Adams, is being reported multiple times that I mean, the reason it's been reported is because Phil spoke on it on The Athletic, said that Leeds would not rule out a move for Che Adams, and he's playing a little bit of a bit part role at Southampton at the minute. Ex-Leeds United keeper Paul Robinson has said that he believes that Leeds should be going in for him as well. With Che Adams, I've always been a big fan. Always been a big fan since his days at Birmingham. I don't understand the hate that he gets. I think some Leeds fans believe that we should be going out and getting a 20, 25 goal a season striker. That's never going to happen. We haven't got the finances for that. We're not in the structure at the minute to be able to have that sort of player in our ranks. Unfortunately, we are a relegation battling team. Why on earth would a 20 to 25 goal a season striker come to Leeds United? You've got to ask yourself that. And with Che Adams, I feel like he almost fits that RB system perfectly. He's done it with Ralph Hasenhüttl for years and years and years. And I think people naturally with a goal scorer, they just want goals, but you have to look at the other side. Look at what we've all expected with Patrick Bamford. It's the other side of the coin. It's the working hard. It's the linking the strikers to the midfield and being able to link the wingers to the strikers and really having that full attacking package. Now, Che Adams has got goals when he's had consistency in the Southampton side without injury. He does add goals to his game. There was a period at the start of the season where he was absolutely flying, getting assists, getting goals. Obviously, that's been disrupted. Southampton's form has taken a dramatic downturn. So yeah, don't take out of the equation the fact that Ralph Hasenhüttl was a big part of Che Adams' career as well. So yeah, it's definitely something to consider. I think system-wise, he'd be really good for Leeds United. I think he'd grab a few goals for us as well. I think going forward at the minute, we're a more potent team than Southampton. And I think just having a number 9 up there would be incredible. You got to think, everybody, when we're playing these long balls, because we can't deal with a press on our back four, when we're playing a long ball up to a striker, and you've either got Brendan Aronson playing the number 9, or Rodrigo, who, with the greatest of respect, isn't a hustle and bustle number 9, isn't someone who's going to hold the defender off, isn't someone who's going to retrieve the ball into his chest and then play it off to the midfielder. That is exactly what Che Adams is, and he's going to be more available for Patrick Bamford, and he's going to be affordable. All of these things are aspects where I think Leeds could do a hell of a lot worse than Che Adams. The numbers he puts out, because everybody bangs on about, KM run and all this sort of stuff during games. Che Adams is way up there. So affordability, quality-wise, I think Leeds could do a lot worse than Che Adams. And it's going to be interesting to keep... it's going to be fascinating to keep an eye on what players are potentially moving on from Leeds as well in this window. So the Newcastle game, everyone, my thoughts. Everything's outcome biased, isn't it? So outcome bias wise, we got 0-0. We got a 0-0 draw. I was very critical of Leeds the other night because I think a lot of fans were swayed by the outcome bias, which is a 3-1 loss, which essentially says that was a close game. That is the highest XG that Man City have put up this season. And it is one of the highest XGs, I believe, under Pep Guardiola away from home as well. And you saw what Everton did yesterday. They were able to nullify City to an extent to very few chances, really, when you look at it. And Brentford were able to do that before the break as well. So getting a result against Manchester City is always going to be very difficult, but curating chances is something that Leeds didn't do enough of whatsoever. And I don't care. This is my opinion. I don't really care if anybody hates it, whatever. But for me, Leeds had to create more chances. We showed way too much respect to them, and they completely dominated us the other night. And I know City do that to every single team, but there are anomalies. There's an anomaly against Everton. There's an anomaly against Brentford as well. So I just didn't understand why Leeds couldn't create more chances and play a little bit more aggressively and more of our game. So that was my criticism the other night. I felt the Newcastle game, as I say, outcome bias-wise, a good result, a really good result against a team in the top 3, a team who were in form in England, the top form side. They've won 6 out of 6. So outcome bias, great result, great result. Overall, I was once again not impressed by the performance again, but like I say, it's very difficult for me to come on here. I know people want me to analyse the game and really review the game, but you can only really look at the result because that's all people are going to look at. And if I try picking apart Leeds' play and Leeds' general tendencies in match, I think people are going to be highly critical because we've got a good point. So I'm not going to be too critical. I think there's still the same problems are still reoccurring, and I think they'll still reoccur against West Ham. I think they'll still reoccur against Aston Villa. The fact that we are just woeful on the ball. Now, that's why I was talking about Che Adams earlier, because it's all about the outball with Leeds. Even with the midfielders now who drop deep, it's all about hitting the front man, but we don't have a front man. For me, an out-and-out number 9, somebody who's going to hold the ball up and link the play. For me, I think Rodrigo is very off and on, as we saw yesterday and as we saw in the City game. I think you need a little bit more consistency up top. And I think when we're under pressure, relieving that pressure would be a number 9, someone like Che Adams. But overall, I think we are missing that massively, especially when we're trying to move through the third so quickly. We have to have a front man. And Rodrigo's not a natural front man for me. So overall, a good result, but I think still a lot to work on, a hell of a lot to work on with this side. I think they have the capabilities to keep the ball and to be able to rotate and to be able to build up from the back, but we don't seem to build up from the back whatsoever. And that's been a thing all season. Leeds really struggle to build up from the back, and when we get it, it's like the ball's like a hot potato. And I actually think it's worse than it has even been under Bielsa, the former coach, where we get the ball and it's almost 3 passes and it's gone. And I think we could be good on the ball. I think we've got enough quality to be good on the ball. You look at Tyler Adams, Mark Rocker, etc. To be able to really build up from the back. Pascal Struijk. I think a lot of players in our sort of defensive region can pick passes and pick the right passes as well. I just think it's so rushed that you just almost see the opposition coming forward at will. And I thought we negated Newcastle quite well, but I thought that they were quite unlucky not to get a couple of goals. Their 2 best chances fell to Longstaff, who really should have hit the back of the net. And obviously the XG was nigh on 3 for Newcastle yesterday, and it was 0.48 for Leeds. So we just, listen, I know Newcastle are insane at the minute, but I just feel our own game, our own standards, just need to improve a little bit, because this is going to continue against the bottom sides. Overall, though, outcome bias, very, very happy with the fact that Leeds United got a point yesterday. Very happy with the fact that, I thought we'd lose. So I can't be too critical. Just it's our in-game management and how we are on the ball. And that's just my problem with it at the minute. And I think, a lot of the time, if you do play like that, there's going to be more scenarios where you lose rather than win. Guys, let me know in the comment section below exactly what you thought. It was also great to see a little bit of SHIT housery yesterday. I thought Leeds were excellent at that, like slowing the game down. Elan Melia holding onto the ball, Liam Cooper on the ground, Tyler Adams kicking the ball away. That was great to see. A little bit more of that, please, from Leeds United, and maybe we'll be able to, concede fewer goals. That's exactly what we should have done against Tottenham. That's exactly what we should have done against Bournemouth, to really, really slow the game down instead of just going 100 miles an hour. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think on Noah Lang, Shay Adams, and the Newcastle game. Really fascinated to hear your thoughts. I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.